Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I am back with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and this is my first layout using the 2018 July kits. And I think these papers are so much fun, so pretty. There are bright colors, there are light soft pastel colors, pinks, blues, yellows, lots of black and white, florals, scripty words, squares, dots, circles, strawberries, all kinds of things. You name it, and it is in these papers. This is one of this month's freebie cut files, and it's really cute, very simple, big, blocky summer letters. And I made it on the smaller side. You could definitely enlarge it and make it take up your entire background, and that would be a really cool idea. I decided to kind of shrink it down a little bit, and I'm going to back the letters with pattern paper. This is one of my favorite techniques. It always works, it's always fun, and it's a great way to get lots of different colors and patterns on your layout. And I know you're probably thinking, you're hacking into these 12 by 12 papers just for a little bit of a square to back these letters. And yep, I am, because the papers that I'm using, I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to use as a solid background. And so if I'm not going to use a pattern paper as a background, then I don't feel bad about cutting into it. And so I'm just going through. I thought at first about doing a rainbow color scheme. I've got a little bit of pink in the first paper, and then orange, and then yellow. I'm looking for a green color. And so I'm just getting a lot of bright colors, and yeah, I'm just cutting into these papers. I did get the paper add-on, so I do have another set of each of these papers, and so I really love this one here. That's from Pretty Little Studio, and if you remember in the June kit, we got several embellishment packs from Pretty Little Studio, and this was the design on the packaging. I even used it on one of my layouts for last month, and I'm so excited to have it as a 12 by 12 paper. And so I'm definitely going to save the other copy of that one and use that as a background. I'm also going to sort through the exclusive Project Life cards here and use one of those to back a letter. So I just kind of keep sorting through everything. I get everything cut, and then I'm just going to use my glue and glue these papers behind the letters. And sometimes I will trace it and cut it out. Other times I will just glue it down and then trim off the excess afterwards. It just depends. And a cut file like this is pretty easy to back because there's only 6 pieces and they're pretty big. You know, if you were doing a floral or something that's got a lot of small pieces, it's definitely going to take more time and you're going to have to do a lot more cutting. But something like this doesn't take that long. And like I said, you get the opportunity to use lots of colors and get lots of patterns, but it's in small doses. I decided not to use the lemons on this M. I decided to use the Project Life card. But so yeah, I'm just going to keep gluing and trimming and cutting and getting these letters filled in. And so that's how it's going to go. I've got a variety of colors there, and I like that it's pretty soft. It's not too bold. Then I got the bright idea. I was in the mood for some hand stitching. I haven't done that in a very long time. And I'm very unprofessional, I guess you could say. I'm going to use my mouse pad and the actual needle to poke my holes, and I'm just winging it here. I don't have a specific pokey tool or a mat, but you can just see there the needle works good, or you could use a thumbtack if you don't have anything special. But yeah, that's my old tried and true mouse pad there. And I'm just using white thread. This is just plain embroidery thread. I split the 6 strands in half, and so I'm using 3 strands at a time, and I mainly did that because I was running low on white thread, but I got it all finished, and you can see how cool that looks. And it's just something to add texture and dimension. It didn't take that long, but yeah, I like the way it looks. Now I decided to scrap a pool photo, and I love this picture of Reese. I do wind up changing it for another pool photo, and I'll talk about that once I get to that point. But my next thing was to go through the papers and find some more things with these colors on it. And I love this paper. This is one of the exclusive papers from Hip Kit this month, and it's just got all these really pretty different color scalloped borders on it. And so I'm going to cut a bit of yellow, orange, and pink. And I thought at first that I would kind of layer them underneath the summer and kind of create just a little layered pattern. So until I finalize that idea, I'm going to get some white cardstock out. I'm definitely going to use white as my background here because I want to keep everything soft and light. And so I'm going to use some clear gesso here just to prime the paper and get it ready for lots of mixed media stuff. So if you got the color kit this month, it includes 3 of the new Pink Fresh Studio liquid watercolors. There's this really pretty blue color, there's an orange and a yellow, and I'm just spraying my cardstock with water first and then dripping some of the color on because the watercolors come in these little glass bottles with a dropper, and I'm just kind of experimenting with this here, dripping and spraying and then turning the paper this way and that way. And my thought was just I wanted a nice light blue wash of color behind the cut file, and so I'm not too worried about perfection here. I just want it to kind of resemble water since my picture is of her in the pool, and that's all I'm doing here. And you can see there's no rhyme or reason to this. You just spray and drip and then just kind of let it run. So I decided to change up my picture. I think the top one, since she's got this, our pool in our patio area is very old, and it's got a lot of like terracotta colored things, like the edge of the pool and the stairs, and there was a lot of that in the background of that first photo, and the more I looked at it, the more I felt like it kind of took away from my color scheme, and so I picked another similar photo where it's more blue in the photo, and I think it goes better with this particular layout. So yeah, I did switch that out. And I decided to pull in some shimmers, and these are both shimmers from previous color kits. I added in a little bit of Jenny B Blue spray and the Snow Way Man, just to add in some variation of blues. And I like how that's looking, and I love how this is resembling the pool water in the photo. And so I'm going to have the photo situated right on top of the cut file in the final design. At this point, I decided that I'd kind of done a little bit too much. It's really not too much, but I wanted it softer. So I'm just going to add a little bit more gesso over some of the blue here just to soften it up even more, and I like how that looks. And of course, this was a perfect time for my tape gun to run out of tape. Why does that always happen? Yeah, I have since refilled it, but anyway, I just needed a little bit to stick down my tissue paper. And at first I wanted to keep everything in the center. I want the cut file in the middle and the picture right on top, but then I decided to kind of off-center it, and so my picture is going to kind of go crooked off to the right, and then this is going to allow me to do some more embellishing over toward the left. And so I pulled out several goodies here. I've got a lot of the exclusive die cuts from this month. They match these Pink Fresh Studio and Pretty Little Studio papers so beautifully. So I'm going to use some hearts, some florals. I'm going to use the word sweet, and that is one of the exclusive acrylic words in this really pretty scripty font. I'm going to use a couple of the acrylic clouds as well up at the top. Then I decided I wanted some yellow into the mix, and I thought what better way than to add some sun rays behind the picture. So I'm going to pull out, this is from another color kit a couple months ago. This is a pasties from Shimmers, and it's kind of like a smooth white texture paste. And I'm going to add some of the new Pink Fresh Studio yellow watercolor to it to kind of basically make yellow paste. And I'm going to sort of just scrape it over this stencil here and create some sun rays at the top of this layout. And this is going to sort of peek out from behind the picture, and right away I love how this looks. I like that it looks kind of messy, and it was a little too yellow. I added a lot of, actually I didn't add a lot of the watercolor to it, but it's such a bold color that it really It really looks too yellow. So I'm going to soften that up a little bit here, of course, with gesso. And all I'm going to do is smush some gesso down on top of it and scrape it over with my palette knife. This layout has a ton of gesso on it. But you know what? Gesso saves the day quite a bit. Whenever you need to soften something up, cover something up, lighten it up, change it up, just smudge some gesso down over it. It's really not technical at all. It's just scraping and smudging. So I'm going to use the same watercolor to add some splatters. I just water it down a little bit, use my brush, and splatter it down. And so now I love how soft the sun rays are. You can still make out what they are, and you can still see them. They're just not as in-your-face yellow. I'm going to go back to the blue watercolor and add in some more splatters. And I love how that looks. It's going to look much better once I get everything back on top of it. But yeah, I like how that looks. And I'm going to start to get everything situated and glued down. I'm going to add some foam behind the cut file to pop it up off the page, and a little bit behind the photo. And then I'm going to come back and put all the embellishments back where I had them, or as close as I had them, if I can remember where every little piece went. I love those acrylic clouds. They are so cute, and they're clear, but you can just really do a lot with them, and they look adorable on your page. I want to pull in a pop of the dark color paper and the M on the bottom left corner. So I'm going to pull in some thread, and this is from my stash. I'm going to add that a little bit to the right and the left of the photo, and it's just going to echo that color. Since I don't have anything else on the layout that is that color, I want to add that in. And I really like how this is looking. I love this cut file. Like I said earlier, you could make it even smaller, or you could enlarge it and make it go across the entire page. You could put your photos, you could do shaped photos and put those behind some of the letters. That would be fun also. So I'm going to use, like I said earlier, flowers. I'm going to use some circles, some hearts, that cute little bird, and then I'm just going to start to glue it all down. I did add another piece of that scalloped paper. I wound up not using the yellow or the orange that I cut out, but I did use the pink down underneath the MER and then right above the photo, right there, just for a pop of pink in that area. And I'm just going to use glue behind these acrylic pieces. At first you could kind of see the glue through it, but I just went back and coated the entire back with glue, and now you can't even see it once it's dry. I'm going to add another little flower and a little lemon up at the top, and then another floral cluster over to the right. And then I'm going to add in a couple of green leaf sprig stickers from this pretty little studio sticker sheet that Kim Watson designed. Love all the colors on that. And then I'm going to, yeah, I really love this little tiny sticker. It's the perfect color to match the M. And at first I didn't see it. And then I looked at that sticker sheet again and I saw it. And I said, oh, I have to use that. It's the perfect little pop of color that matches. And I almost used the pink popsicle, but didn't. And I am going to use, I think I'm going to use, yes, I do use it. This little floral epoxy sticker, and that's exclusive. And so is this sheet of puffy shapes. I'm going to cut the outer edge of that dark aqua flower because there's only one, and I wanted to put a pop of that color up at the top, so I just cut the outline of it out, and then I have an open flower up at the top, but it's that same color. And so now I've got that dark aqua color going out around a couple places. One of the last things I'm going to do is go back to the Pinko de Mayo shimmers, and that's from last month's color kit, just in June, just to add a little bit of pink splatters around the page. It's the perfect color to match these light, soft pinks. And then I'm going to add my journaling, just a couple lines right in the middle at the bottom, and I'm going to use my silver metallic pen, just because everything's so light and airy. I didn't want to add black journaling. I just felt like it would be too dark, but I did add the date. And that is the final layout. I love how this turned out. These kits are so, so pretty. I I'm obsessed with them already, and I just cannot wait to make my next layout. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it gives you some ideas or some inspiration to try on your next layout. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great week.